Your question about what a day like today can achieve. Well, the International Day to Protect Education from Attack will not halt attacks on education any more than the International Day of Happiness can end the anguish, or World Food Day eliminate hunger. We hold an International Day to draw attention to the magnitude of an issue and to provide a rallying point, because there are millions of children who are no longer have a school as a result of conflict. Despite the pandemic and despite Secretary General's calls for a global ceasefire, the number of attacks on education increased by a third in 2020. In 1 year alone, there were nearly 2,400 attacks. The students and staff who are maimed and killed in these attacks, they aren't collateral damage. They are being deliberately targeted, attacked in cold blood, in the very spaces where they should be safe to learn and play. Let me repeat, deliberately targeted. And why? Why schools? Well, because schools are places where new generations study their language, learn their history, culture, and traditions, develop a sense of identity, confidence, and agency. Aggressors seek not only to destroy the lives, but annihilate the very history of those they attack. When they bomb buildings, smash monuments, and uproot trees that form the traditional heart of societies, attackers strip those societies of their history, distort their present, and obliterate their future. Their culture memory ravage. The survivors who crawl from wreckage are left with nothing. The generations traumatized by their experiences, their wants, visible and invisible, must find a foundation from which to rebuild. And education is that foundation, enabling them to recover from the trauma, to live with their wants, and to find hope. That is why education is an alternative to chaos. That is why education is classed as human right. Education is a powerful weapon against cultural annihilation. Those who attack education are criminals who steal far more than reading, writings, and arithmetics. Such criminals should be held accountable. And yet, right now, they get away with murder. When perpetrators make a premeditated choice to destroy education, to erase culture, and to end any possibility of peace, they should answer for their actions. And much of the time, we know exactly who is behind this destruction. We monitor these attacks, collecting the data that establishes culpability. So I believe that with such strong evidence behind it, the international community should ensure that those responsible compensate the victims, bring them to account, to face the consequences, and pay for the damage they have done. So Nick, you asked me, what can this day achieve? In 2010, we worked together to pass the General Assembly resolution on the right to education in emergency situations. 10 years later, we came together again to institute the International Day to Protect Education from Attack. And still, in more than 70 countries, school buildings are damaged, razed, or used for military purposes. So we must become more vigilant, make the invisible visible, both the victims and the victimizers. Next, today is our rallying point. It is time to urge the international community to request the United Nations Security Council to take action and bring those who commit atrocities against education and what it represents to justice. So the ruthless victims of these 70+ countries know that we are committed to their peace and security.